What's up, guys? Welcome to the Chess Giant. This is Solomon Ardell, and in today's video we're going to be covering one of my favorite Ponziani opening games of all time. What exactly is the Ponziani? Well, it starts off with the moves e4, and following e5 we play knight f3, developing the knight and putting some pressure on that centralized pawn, and following knight c6, the most popular option at the master and grandmaster level is bishop b5 with the Ruy Lopez, putting some pressure on that c6 knight. But there's a rare and solid chess opening choice here with the move c3. The Ponziani making its intentions clear, supporting a d4 push. And there's a ton of chess opening theory on the Ponziani, but today we're going to see this chess opening in action. I think it's important not just to memorize lines, but really understand the best to do it. And in today's video, we're going to be covering Mikhail Chigorin back in the year of 1901 as he beautifully displayed how to play this opening at peak performance. Here we see the move knight f6, and it really doesn't matter what black plays. We're going to continue with d4, breaking right through in the center of the board, and now black has a big decision to make. Does black want to take on d4, e4, keep the piece with d6? Here we see the move e takes d4, in which Chigorin continues to push with e5, attacking the knight on f6. And here I think the best move is knight d5, in which case we're simply going to take on d4, continue to naturally develop the pieces. And I like white's game here, but here black played the move queen e7, and following c takes d4, d6. And for one that is not well acquainted with the theory on the Ponziani opening, I can totally see why black would want to play queen e7, d6, and knight c6, all putting pressure on our e5 pawn. I mean, it looks overexposed. If we play a move like bishop f4, trying to hold on to it, black can play knight d5, centralizing the knight, attacking our bishop, and following bishop g3, take the pawn, continue with bishop e6. Both the knights and the queen are all attacking that b4 square. So I think the best move here is probably a move like a3 for white, in which case black can continue with castling queenside. Now the rook very active, pouncing down on the white queen. And here if we play a move like queen c1, I think it goes without saying that this is not very good for white. But here Chigorin didn't play a passive move like queen e2 or bishop f4, but the very aggressive bishop b5, pinning the knight on c6. And in the game, we see the move knight d7, but I do want to issue a warning for you Ponziani opening players. If you see the move d takes e5, take the pawn back. Do not play d5. This may look tempting as this knight on c6 is pinned and our pawn attacks it, but now black can simply play the move a6. And yes, we can win the knight, but at the same time, we'd be losing our bishop. And if bishop a4, black can again continue with b5, attacking our bishop. Idea being, after d takes e6, we see b takes a4, followed by bishop g4, the bishop very active, pinning our knight. e4 ideas are in the air, on top of rook d8, pouncing down on our queen. And it's not like white is losing here, but I would give the clear edge to black. So again, if d takes e5, take back with the pawn. But in this game, we see the move knight d7. Now we have two knights, a pawn, and a queen all attacking that e5 pawn. But here Chigorin doesn't waste his time with a move like bishop f4, but simply plays castling kingside. Idea being, after the move d takes e5, we now play d5, attacking the knight. And it really doesn't matter where the knight goes. We're going to continue with knight takes e5. I love this idea. The knight can't take it because it's pinned by the bishop on b5. And if queen takes e5, we play rook e1, pinning the queen to the king on e8, and thank you for the queen. So here we see the move queen f6, in which case Chigorin continues with rook e1, eyeing the king on e8, and following bishop e7, queen e2, forming a battery ram on e1 and e2. I think here the best move was castling kingside, and the reason black didn't play this was probably because white can get an advantage in development simply by taking the knight on d7, and after bishop takes d7, playing bishop takes d7 again. And if knight takes d7, we simply go up a piece in the endgame. So following the move bishop b4, attacking our rook on e1, we simply get our bishop out of the line of fire. And after bishop takes e1, take back with the queen. Now we have two minor pieces for a rook, and usually most agree that two minor pieces is better than a rook and a pawn. So it goes without saying that two minor pieces is better than a rook. And on top of that, it's pretty hard for black to develop here. This rook can't come to e8 because of both the bishop and the queen, and this knight has a hard time developing, and therefore the rook as well, because this knight can't come to d7 because of the bishop, and it can't come to c6 because of the pawn. Here white will continue with knight c3, knight e4, bring a bishop to g5, bring the rook to c1, pouncing down on the c7 pawn. Here white is completely winning this game. Black did not want to go into this and instead played h5, trying to prevent knight g4 attacking the queen and also putting pressure on the e7 bishop. But here Chigorin just plays knight f3, simply retreating the knight back. And this may seem counterintuitive. I mean, the knight can't be taken by the queen or the knight, obviously, because it's pinned. But here by playing knight f3, both the queen and the rook put pressure on the bishop on e7, and now, if castling kingside, we simply go up a full piece. So here we see black play queen d6, trying to hold this game together, but we now have bishop f4 attacking the queen. Idea being, if queen takes f4, queen takes e7 is a mate in one. And now after queen c5, we have a beautiful idea by Chigorin with d6, pouncing down on that bishop. Idea being, if c takes d6, we simply take that bishop, game over. And if queen takes, we win a queen. So here, castling kingside is more or less forced, in which case we take the bishop, and following rook e8, continue with knight c3. And now after c6, we have bishop c4 and b5, black desperately trying to create some counterplay on the queen side of the board. But now we have, thanks to the bishop being on c4, bishop takes f7 check, attacking the king. Idea being, if king h8 or king h7, we'll simply take the rook, and we're about to make a second queen very soon. And if king takes f7, like the game, we have queen e6 checkmate, game over. If you'd like to learn the theory behind the Ponziani opening, click the video to the left. If you'd like to explore more chess openings in general, click the playlist to the right. Leave a comment to let me know what other videos you'd like to see covered on this channel. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.